So before I conclude, Dr. Deep State, I want to thank everybody who has participated or even opened their minds and given Dr. Deep State a chance. I very much appreciate that. Although I'm concluding the course, Dr. Deep State will continue. I am going to continue essentially an appendage to the course called Esoteric Biopolitics, Deeper Insights, that's going to dig into all the different sections of the course and then direct it toward affairs in the world today. So I hope you continue to participate in and with the Dr. Deep State Project. I'd like to uh, show you a quote from um, last week from one of the Dr. Deep State viewers that I thought tidied up one of the arguments going on inside of Dr. Deep State kind of nicely. So I'm going to put that out on the screen now. And I am going to finish with some of the things that we began with. First of all, I said in a political science classroom or generally in the world today, we're corralled into a certain way of thinking. And we're supposed to make sense of what's going on in Iran or Syria or all of the psyops around us in terms of materialism. Like that's the only way we can go. Okay. And by doing so, we can't think that there are prophetic texts that very much speak to the events going on and the depopulation agenda going on in the world today. And I want to put that out there, especially for people that A, have never heard of it, or people have heard of it through mainstream religions or mainstream television because it's largely done as of misdirection. So I just wanted to put a piece of that out on the table. And of course, we're going to make sense of the world at the university through the democratic process, which once you open your minds to oligarchy and its mode of control, biopolitics, I think once you go down that door, it's hard to take seriously um, democracy as any meaningful method of rule in the world today. And that we don't want to look specifically at the national level or national level decision makers to make sense of the world. Oligarchs have been international. They work through empires, they work through secrecy, they work through monopolies. They always have. They have a worldview, they have an eschatology, and it's an end times eschatology, and they're manufacturing it as we go. And we're all participants in this grand initiation. And we are put on the alchemical altar for their project. And we, our minds, our spirits, and our consciousness are going to become part of their apotheosis project. And once we open up our minds, this is not necessarily something that's a sad thing to know. Quite the contrary. I think it can be extremely enabling. So let's wind this up a little bit. I began by saying that the current world order, the nation state system that began in 1648, where states, some sort of autonomy in this world system, is coming to a close. And we're really in the death throes of this system right now. And it's really put out there on a daily basis that we're turning a new page. We're in the age of Aquarius, and so forth. And we're told to prepare for this new world order. But yet at the same time, of course, the new world order doesn't exist somehow. Okay. Soon we will witness the permanent cessation of the vital signs. That is, especially the idea of state sovereignty in any meaningful sense will merge into this world federalism or global governance or the final rolling out of globalism. And what we're saying is that this did not happen by accident. This is the oligarchs have kind of written and controlled the main features of this history for a very long time. So what's going to emerge in this new world order? I'm going to argue that it's going to be universal. It's going to be a one world system, one world financial system. I think most of you get that idea. It's going to be theistic, and that's a depthy idea, especially, I've at some of the comments made some provocative ideas that I see the tendency for international law is slowly being usurped by Talmudic law. And that would be the first phase of this theism. It is this larger Hermetic Kabbalism that has this Gnostic um, theosophic guise of kind of this oneness. And if you ever want to look into the religion of the United Nations or the prayer room at the United Nations, it's kind of capsulating everything, this coexist idea. But that will be the first phase of this theistic thing. It will more directly move in a more totalitarian as theistic projects tend to, more totalitarian mode. It'll be collectivist. In other words, the will of the individual will be subjugated to the will of the collective, or if we've seen time and again with these new world order thinkers, that you're really there to um, support, worship the state. And as we kind of pulled that out, the state is in fact really the race, and it is this master race that they have created. And it's going to be biopolitical because it will be the oligarchs, in a sense, stepping out. They've been in the background for quite a while right now. They've interwoven themselves into all the various political systems, into monarchies and democracies in any other form. They're in there. They're weaved into it. But they're going to step out as they did in the old world. It'll be a sort of neo-feudalism. But the biopolitical control that they've been talking about um, will be their mode. It's a control over bodies. That's why it's a surveillance state. Um, Perpetual, constant control over the mind, body. And this is what I'm doing, especially the spirit. This is a spirit. And what do I mean by spirit? I mean, it's your consciousness. There is no scientific explanation for your consciousness. It is connected to other realms. I mean, if you don't believe that, okay, fine. But it's connected to other realms. They want that. That's part and parcel of your soul. And that's why you've got free will. You have choice about that. That's the ultimate politics. Unless you really think it's about Trump and Hillary, I can't do much for you. But that's the ultimate. It's control of your body, but they want your soul. They want your consciousness, and for their project to succeed, they have to direct all human consciousness toward this. Um, we can call it singularity. Uh, the Book of Revelations talks about it, capturing um, all human consciousness for the completion of this project. And again, we talked about that when we talked about Hegel, the Hermetic, in Alexander McGee's text, when we went over the 7 tenets of Hermetic capitalism. And part of this is to create a universal knowledge base. And then through that, what we can basically call Teilhard's, web or internet. And through that instrument, it will help us to be induced into this moment of the singularity of all consciousnesses. And it's the reengineering of the fall of Babel in esoteric and biblical terms. Um, but this new world order will be based upon hereditary privilege. It kind of has been, but it's been lurking in the background. So that's going to come out in their new world order. But um, finally, a big piece of this is going to be this depopulation agenda. And that is part of this ancient esoteric eschatology. And it's both biblical and Talmudic and Hermetic. So how I want to explore this as we've now finished the course, when I do Dr. Deep State, Deeper Insights, one of the themes I will be working from is transhumanism. Um, but there's so much out there on that. What I'm really more interested in is transhumanism is transitioning us into posthumanism. And all the movers and shakers out in the world today are telling us, 2045, they're saying there's going to be an end to humanity. They're telling us this. This is prophetic in terms of ancient texts. There will be an end of humanity. This is where this death culture is going to really shine. So posthumanism is the end of humans, or maybe they think that they'll keep a handful of humans around for their own amusement. But I want to dig into posthumanism, the death of humanity, and see how that's playing out in the world today. And I hope that as we're doing this, one of my missions here is that we embrace our humanity and the image that the Creator gave us, because that's the last battleground. And I believe that in the end, we will be asked to trade in that image for another image. And I want some people, even if I'm only reaching a few, to see that if you make that decision, whether it's being chipped or having your DNA altered, that, as we've talked about with Michael Dillon in Biopolitics, that's the end game. That's the Rosetta Stone. That's the um, that is the um, philosopher's stone. That it comes down to your code, because your code is how you've been encoded with the image of God. And if there's some moment for anybody out there that's asked to alter that code, you will be, in biblical terms, irredeemable to the Creator. So, on that light note, I want to again thank everybody for participating in this course, and it will be the foundation to deeper insights of esoteric biopolitics. Um, Thank you.